Dear students, in previous two lectures, we have discussed simplex method for solving linear programming problems. In today's lecture, we will discuss some other pattern of problem of linear programming problems which we will solve through simplex method. You can see this example. Up to this we have solved the problems with only one kind of constraints, that is of less than equals to. Here we can see it's greater than equals to as well as less than equals to. There are two types of constraint, maybe equality also there. So what we have to do, what is our purpose? We initially convert the given LPP into standard form. Then we proceed further through certain tables, table 1, 2, 3, etc. One more thing which can be observed here, that we have a negative value in right hand side of this constraint, say minus 15. Whenever in any problem of linear programming problems which we have to solve through simplex method, not about only this particular problem, it's about whole chapter. Whenever a negative value is there in right hand side under constraints, in any of the part of constraint like here minus 15, you have to change that from a positive value. Then after you can proceed for further solution. You have to initiate the solution with that step. Like here we are doing, we can change it by multiplying with the negative both the sides. We know that if we multiply this inequality by negative both the sides, that less than equals to will be converted into greater than equals to, but that's alright, it will be plus 15 instead of minus 15. So we are doing that. That constraint is multiplied with negative both the side, now becomes x1 plus 5x2, and in place of less than equals to we have greater than equals to, and in place of minus 15 we have plus 15. So that is to be done initially. Then we talk over other prospects of changing this given LPP into standard form. As objective function is of minimization, so we convert it into maximize z dash. Instead of z we are using other symbol z dash, and we multiply it with minus 4x1 minus x2, that is with a negative, and we can observe the constraint number 1 is of greater than. Up to this we were facing only less than equals to cases. Here it's greater than equals to. That means there is something extra in left hand side, so we have to subtract that. So we are subtracting one variable s1. Up to this we were nominating the variables s1, s2, s3, etc. as slack variables. Now s1, s2 or s3 may be slack or may be surplus variable as per the inequality's nature. If it's greater than equals to, then the variable is to be subtracted, and if it's less than equals to, then the variable is to be added. If we have to add a variable left hand side, then it is called slack variable. If we have to subtract, it is called surplus variable. Here we have to subtract s1 because it's greater than equals to, so s1 is a surplus variable. And then that other inequality initially was given in form of less than equals to, but we have converted it into greater than equals to because of that negativity. We corrected that, and because of greater than equals to, here you can see s2 is subtracted there, and by doing that, by subtracting s1 or s2, those greater than equals to converts into equalities. So that is about of getting objective function as maximization, getting equalities by introducing two surplus variables, now minus s1 minus s2, and adding those surplus variable with 0 coefficient in objective function 2, and in non-negative restrictions as x1, x2 greater than equals to 0 were given, those surplus variable s1, s2 are also included in that list as greater than equals to 0. Up to this we have done everything, but is it a standard form of LPP? Not yet. Why? Because two constraints were given. So what we need? We need a 2 cross 2 identity matrix, which we have to check through columns. Here we can check, say it's 3 1 for x1, 454x2 minus 1 0 for S1 and 0 minus 1 for S2. Previously we have seen, because of using slack variable, say if it would have been slack variable, then it will be plus S1, so 1 0. If it's plus S2, then 0 1. So columns of identity matrix were created using slack variables. That is the big benefit of slack variables. But here we don't have slack variables. We have to use surplus variables, but we did here. So we not have even a single column of the identity matrix of order 2 cross 2. That is, we need to create 1 0 and 0 1 as 2 columns. Sometimes you may see the column 1 0 or 0 1 is created naturally with coefficients of say x1, x2 or x3 etc. as per the given problem. But here not even a single column is seen, and we need 1 0 as well as 0 1. And for doing that, what we are doing, we are using artificial variables. As you can see in that first constraint, we are using artificial variable, that is, we are adding plus a1 in that equality. It's not inequality now, but still we have to add one variable. Then only that identity matrix or column of that can be created. And then we are using we are adding a2 in that second equality, as you can see there. And by adding a1 and a2 at these respective places, coefficient of a1 1 0, coefficient of a2 0 1. That is, both columns of identity matrix are created. But we have added these constants arbitrarily, known as artificial constants, in these two equalities, not inequalities. So we have to counterbalance these constants, and that is being done in that objective function which was up to 0 as 2 as from that step. But we are subtracting minus ma1 and minus ma2 written for that. We are subtracting ma1 and ma2 from objective function. Why? Just to counterbalance that concept that we are adding artificial variables a1 and a2 in equalities, and that m is a very large number, very large positive number there. So it's a very big negative value, because minus ma1 and minus ma2 there. M is as large as no other numbers can be large or larger than m. That is, it's almost tending up to infinite. Okay, and in objective function it's minus a1 minus ma1 minus ma2. In constraint we introduced a1 a2, so they are there, as well as in non-negative restrictions, which was up to x1 x2 s1 s2, we added two more variables, say artificial variables, which we introduced in this problem, a1 a2 greater than equals to 0. So it's about, say, positive maximize objective function, and for two constraint 1 0 and 0 1, two columns of identity matrix are created. That means it's about completion of creating standard form of given LPP. That is, using this we can make first simplex table for this particular problem by copying these coefficients etc. We have seen it too many times. As you can see, table 1, we have created this table 1 for that problem which we were discussing in previous slide, using the standard form of the given LPP, and then usually we will calculate Zj and Zj minus Cj, and M will also raise there, and then we have to go for negative or most negative value, which is to be picked through coefficient of M now. Why? Because M is a very big number. Okay, so minus 9M and minus 4M are to be compared there. Plus 4 plus 1 hardly matters. No plus or minus number in comparison of M is to be considered here. And minus 4M and minus 9M, that means minus 9M is obviously most negative. So minus 9M plus 1 is to be considered as most negative for this particular problem. Say if coefficients of M are identical, say it is minus 4m, it is also minus 4m, then we have to compare it through other numbers, say minus 4m both the places, then in comparison of plus 4 plus 1 is a lower side number. That's how that will be most negative. Okay, so that is about deciding most negative. Then the entering column and entering variable x2. X2 will take place of either a1 or a2. For that we have to take that minimum replacement ratio, say it is 20 upon 4, 15 upon 5, that is 3, 15 upon 5 equals to 3, so it's key row, everything similar. We have to add several newer things here, otherwise the basic work is much similar to two previous problems which we discussed in two previous lectures. And then as one most negative value or two negative values are appearing, so obviously it's not an optimal solution, then we have decided key row and the departing variable, everything like we have done it too many times while creating several tables in last two lectures. And here a2 will be the departing variable, outgoing variable, and 5 is the key element, and we will use these all facts while making table 2 in next slide. Now you can see table 2 is obviously created by table 1 and the facts which we were discussing in previous slide as per the table 1. And after creating table 2, usually again Zj and Zj minus Cj are calculated, and then we have most negative value, as it can be seen there. It's Z1 minus C1 is the most negative one, as well as one more negative value is there. So we can say that x1 will now enter. Previously x2 entered, now x1 will enter, and by using those all minimum replacement ratio and every similar kind of concept, a1 will be the departing variable. One more thing can be done, because a1 is artificial variable, we have to exclude it at any cost. That's why it is also possible, like a2 was outgoing in or as per table 1. So if you wish, you can cancel that column also. That means a2 was outgoing as per table 1. So it's not necessary to make that column a2 in table 2. Like a1 is outgoing from here, and in table 3, if we wish, we can cancel column a1. If you wish, you can cancel. If you want to make this column, it's alright. So it is about table 2, and then outputs of that, that's the variable x1 will be the entering one, capital A1 will be the outgoing one, and then key element, key rows, etc., which we will use to make table 3 next slide. Now you can see in table 3 the facts which we were discussing in previous slides are obviously utilized to create that table 3. And after creating table 3, Zj minus Cj is negative at least for one cell. That means S2 will enter, and we have to make next table and replacement ratio calculated for these two rows. Only for one row it is calculated, and dash for other. Why? Because for that negative minus 13 upon 11 entering of S2, that value minus 3 upon 11 is negative, and we know 0 or negative values in any column don't permit replacement ratio, so it's dash for that part, and 10, so only one value is minimum, so key row, key element, everything selected. And finally, as per the discussion of many tables like this, here it is decided that x1 will be the outgoing one. So x1 will be outgoing variable, and its place S2 will come inside in next table, next slide. Now table 4 is created using table 3 and the outputs of table 3 as per the previous slide. and after creating that table for Zj minus Cj can be observed that no negative value for Zj minus Cj or any cell of that. That is, all values of Zj minus Cj are either 0 or positive, so it's the optimal solution. And in this table you can check it. X2, value of X2 is 5, and X1 is not there, so X1 is 0, and S2 is 10, and S1 is also 0, using especially X1 and X2 the objective function which was given as minimization. So minimize Z is, it was 4x1 plus x2, so 4 into 0 plus 5, final value of that minimum value of Z is 5. So it is about one important problem which we solved by introducing artificial variables, and we introduced a value capital M, which is very big positive value, and because of this the simplex method in this particular problem or problems like this is also known as big M method. That means big M method is not a new method, it's not a different method, it is exactly simplex method, but as capital M is a very big value, that's why alternatively problems like this, in problems like this, simplex method is also known as big M method.